Hi guys, just Lee again here from Real Spirit Dynamics, and I'm going to talk to you about a video I'm working on about non-duality at the moment, and I'd like to thank you all for your comments on the last video I made about non-duality when I asked for your help, because I've used all those comments in this theory I'm producing now. And I'm going to bring this video out soon because in the spiritual communities there's a lot of misconception about non-duality, and I think a lot of people are getting confused. And so I'm coming up with my own theory to try and iron out some of these issues and try and figure out what's really happening when it comes to non-duality and dualistic thinking. And this is what I'm working on here. So this is something I've drew on the whiteboard here about non-duality. So what I think's happening so far is I think there's some kind of ripple effect where there's a wave, but the wave is all one. So if you can imagine like a pebble hitting a pond, and it creates a ripple effect that expands, and as the ripples expand they get bigger, but as they get bigger they'll also start to get smaller and they'll even out again back to the stillness. So if you can imagine these are the ripples, this is the pebble hitting the pond, and these are the ripples, okay? And imagine there's a baseline here, which is the non-dualistic baseline, and I think as the ripples get bigger, this forms the ego, okay? So this is a consciousness kind of diagram where the pebble hitting the water is your consciousness coming into this reality. So I think that's when we're born, okay? And I think what happens is when we're born, it creates these ripples, and then this creates the ego, because as the ripples go up and down, okay, the one side of the ripple is the bad, and the other side of the ripple is the good. And I think as we go through these good and bad experiences, which is what the ego determines, the ego tells us it's good and bad, but in reality it's not. As we have a bad experience here, I think there's also on the other side of the ripple a good experience. So there's a paradoxical nature to everything because it is all the same wave, you see. So every bad experience we have, we kind of think of it as bad because the ego thinks, oh, this is a terrible experience. But you'll notice with time and that the wave levels out, you'll realize every bad experience also had a good to it as well, which is what time's here for. So I think time causes the ripple to even out again, and it eventually gets back to this point. So every good has a bad and every bad has a good, and this would explain this symbol here, which is the non-duality symbol, or the yin and the yang, so to speak, because there's negative and positive both working together, but they are all one. And I think that's what's happening here. And this would also explain the Fibonacci sequence, because the reason it goes like a spiral, I think, is because you'll notice that we'll have an experience and then a few months or years down the line, we'll have that experience again. And it'll be from a slightly different angle, but it's the same spiritual experience. And then we'll have it again, okay? And each time we have that experience, we start to learn and we start to merge the good and the bads together. And as we merge the good and the bads, that's when the wave starts to even out again, and it eventually comes back to this point, which is the point of non-duality. So when we reach this point, this is also known as enlightenment, and that's when we reach a non-dualistic state. And this would also fall in line with this, which is the infinity symbol, because everything is a paradox and it all comes back in on itself. So everything here is also here, and it all expands and then comes back to the center. And I think that's what's happening with non-duality. And your perception of an experience also has a paradoxical opposite, okay? And it works like, this might not necessarily work like waves, but it might work like a kind of, I've forgotten the name of the symbol that goes like this, but it then comes back in on itself and it comes back to source, okay? Because we realize the good and the bad can be merged, and once we merge them with experience, with spiritual experiences, and we start to become non-dualistic, which we come back to source. And then I think that's the reason for this reality. And I think we're here to learn spiritually, we're here to realize there's a good and a bad in everything. And the physical world around us, I think, is basically a reflection of our consciousness that's very cleverly designed in a way that we can learn these lessons and bring ourselves back to source. So it's kind of like a school, okay? Like this is how this reality is working. It's a bit like a school, and we learn a lot of lessons using the wave, the kind of duality illusion, but it's not actually duality. It's all one. But it's kind of an illusion of duality, so that we learn how to come back to non-duality. And it's like a ripple in the same wave, okay? So it's like a surface level with a ripple that comes and then it evens itself out again. And this could be the Big Bang, for all we know. The Big Bang could be the start of the ripple, and that could even itself out again. So it's all working in cycles, and it's all working in spiral dynamics, where everything comes back round. So it comes back round, and we experience the same spiritual experience again and again until we learn from it, and we learn to merge it, and we transcend past that spiritual experience. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, guys. I am going to make a more in-depth video about this in a month or so, but I just guess I wanted to get some of your comments, because just in case I've missed anything on this or you've got a different idea, I'd like to hear your ideas as well. I'm not suggesting this is how reality works. I'm just coming up with a new theory about non-duality, and I'm kind of trying to iron out some of these issues in the spiritual communities at the moment about non-duality. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Please leave a comment, let us know what you think of that, and please like this video. I'll be back shortly with a new video for you guys. I'm going to make more videos regularly as well, just to build up the channel a little bit, because we do have a very limited audience at the moment. But once this kind of knowledge is out there, and I think as we evolve, this type of knowledge will become more kind of popular with people as they ascend in the spiritual ladder and finding non-duality. So yeah, that's it, guys. Please leave a comment. I'll be back shortly with another video. Let us know what you think of that, and if you've got any ideas you want me to add to that, or you think I've missed anything, let us know. So see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.